it will now be time for us to look at questions and rebuttals. Let's start this one. Questions and rebuttals. So that's number 2, okay? Okay. Now, questions and rebuttals. Questions are buying signals, okay? They always will be, always are. Rebuttals are the answers. When a question is asked to you, obviously somebody is interested and they require an answer, okay? There are really 2 types of people in the world: those who look to confirm that it will not work, and those who are looking to confirm that it will work. All of the questions that you require, you answer them and see what happens, okay? A rebuttal is an answer to a question to rebuff the question, okay? Now, let's look at the questions the candidates ask. You've got your overview. You've now called the candidate to book an interview. In the course of the conversation, these are the questions that will come up. Is the job permanent? You know the UK has 1.4 million temporary jobs. A lot of people, if a candidate asks you that question, it's because he's probably got a temporary job already. He doesn't want another temporary job. He wants something permanent. You follow? Obviously, if he's unemployed, he wouldn't ask you that question because he'll take anything. Okay? So he asks you, is the job permanent? The answer obviously is yes, because in this case it is. If it wouldn't, you will never be given a campaign with temporary jobs. Okay. Every campaign you get will be a permanent campaign, permanent employment. Permanent employment meaning never ending, that we know now, and for 40 hours a week. Okay, the candidate will ask you, at what location will I be working? Question number 2. Because the candidate is concerned about travel, commuting. Maybe he has a family, kids in school, doesn't want to go out of Harrow. And in this case, you'll say many locations throughout London. What do you mean by London? What do you mean by that? Is there may be somewhere close to him. What is defined as close? Within a 10-mile radius. That's right. Yeah, with close means on the tube, 20 minutes, with no more than say 8 to 10 stops. Okay. That is within range. All right. So when that question comes up at you, you know it's a question about, there's a mobility, a travel question at the back of his head. What are the hours of work? When it comes to security, people start thinking, most of these guys want to work nights so they can sleep and doze off. There's not one security guard stays vigilant throughout the night. None of them do it. At 2, 3 in the morning, they're all gone, or they always claim they're making their rounds. Well, we know what that means. But in any event, if a candidate asks you that question, generally, he has something he's doing in the day. You follow? He has something that preoccupies him for a part of the day, and he wants to know whether this can fit. You follow me? He probably is working a part-time or another full-time job and wants to come out and work the night shift so he can do his schoolwork or something. These guys all do that. Security guards all do that. It's very important. And you will not get this question, obviously, with many of the other jobs, but with security you will more than others. Other people ask you, well, what are the hours? And they really mean, is it 8:30 to 4:30 or 10 to 6? But the security positions, really, they're interested in shifts. Guys want to work that 11/7 shift because there's nobody around. They can do their homework, do schoolwork, do jigsaw puzzles, watch TV, sleep, because they're working something else. All right. How many people work in the office? That is something somebody's trying to establish the size of the business. And whether they'll be able to fit in. It's probably somebody who's not really, doesn't want to work around, doesn't want to be in a small office, or doesn't want to work around a lot of people, or who has problems working with people. It's always a question like that. It's one of those 2 things. How many people work in the office? Or the question may come out, how many people are in the company? That answer to that question, you always want to be vague, say, I really don't know, because how do you answer a question like that?
So how do you give a straightforward answer to that question?
Well, I would say I don't know, but I'd say typically it's a fair-sized company. I would just be vague, a fair-sized company. Okay? Yeah. Question 5, how big is the company? I answer that, I think it's big enough. Big enough. It's going to pay you every week or every month. Not to worry. That little check you're going to make is going to be all right. I mean, generally we don't ask clients how big they are. And at this point, since you can't disclose the company, it makes sense to just be vague on this issue. Obviously, anybody can work for any company. If somebody's going to pay you every month, you know, I mean, if they have 1 employee or 200, that's making a difference. The the fact is you're doing something which is, you'll be gainfully employed and you'll be paid. The better question is how much money does the company have in the bank? that's a better question, you know. But in any event, what is the company's website? The answer to that question. Now this is a candidate that wants to research the company and tweak his CV before he comes in. You know, you ever seen these people, they want to make their CV fit the position.
Mm.
Yeah.
They don't want to be off. So therefore, when they research a site, they fix the CV to that. And that's all right, although I still don't believe in it, but I don't believe you should fix your CV based on which job you want to get. And normally, people like myself that are a little older, that have CVs that run into 8 or 10 or 12 pages of stuff, generally would do that to just make it condense it to what we've done. But the young person asking a question is really just trying to make the CV more like what the company wants than anything else. They're not trying to just condense the reading so the reader doesn't get an eye strain of reading a book. You know, because I can put the CV together and it can be like a book. And not that it gets me any job any faster.
Yeah, you just want to be precise.
Yeah, right. But some people will tweak the CV. But in any event, that's the question. The answer to that question, that is confidential at this point until the second interview. Because you can't disclose the name. So obviously, if you've given the site away, you've given out the name, right? Okay, next question. How long will the interview last? That depends on how many questions we have. That's somebody that's probably pushed for time, is probably working, and just wants to fit you in. Okay? That is what that question would be. The interviews generally run 15 minutes, no more. Actually, mine only run about 3. Because I get right to the point. I stick to the H card and I'm done with it. There's no need to ask any more questions on that. You don't get into anything critical or anything political. The interviews are really down to the bone. Nationalities, where you're from, what religion, Obama, Gaddafi. These things never get you anywhere. Yeah, they never get you anywhere.
Okay.
You just stick straight to the H card, and if you're from that country, tell the guy, the candidate, look, man, I'll call you later about that. Yeah, right now I got other candidates. You see, if you stay with it. So if you're asked, how long will the interview last? It's an insult to say you diminish the value of the interview by saying only 15 minutes. Nobody wants to travel all the way from Watford Junction for a 15-minute interview. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. All right, so don't say 15 minutes. Hello there.
Hello.
But certainly you want to say it depends on how many questions we have. Okay? Now, the next one. Whom will I be seeing? You give the candidate your name. Say you'll be seeing me. Okay? All right. How many interviews will I have to attend? Since the overview indicated 2, you just reaffirm 2. Just 2. And you can say 1 with me and 1 with the actual company. Okay? What should I bring to the interview? You tell them just a pen, paper, and your CV. That's all we really require for the interview. We don't require the references per se. Don't get into the references. On each, you're given 200 minutes on that phone and that SIM card every month to conduct to make about 200 calls. So you really only have technically 1 minute per candidate. Now, an extensive amount can be said in 1 minute if it's focused. Right? Mm. However, what really gets it done for you is the fact that candidates always call you back on the missed calls. You follow? Since you only let your phone ring 3 times, and then you hang up, they'll always call you back. So about half of them will call you back. And if you're really smart, like most of the guys do, you start calling at 8 in the morning, and nobody picks up from 8 to 10, so everybody's a missed call.
So they call you back.
You call when nobody's answering.
Clever, isn't it?
Yeah, you start early because they're all on the tube. Because basically, if you're smart, that's what you do. But in any event, you allow 200 minutes. So basically, keep it brief on the phones. You'll see the script is designed to make sure that happens for you. Can we do the interview by phone? No, the answer is absolutely not. If the individual is far out of town, when a question like that is asked of you, the person is out of town. they don't really want to waste their time. Maybe it's a case where they don't have much confidence in you. Maybe you just didn't come across like very definitive, authoritative, or maybe you came across as maybe an amateur, and they said, well, I'm going to get dressed and leave Watford Junction or leave Essex and come all the way down to London. Let's do it over the phone. Or that person, it doesn't need the job, or is not anxious to work. Okay, but that cannot happen. How much notice will I be able to give my current employer? That is somebody, of course, that is working.
That's right.
And they're probably under some kind of contractual arrangement to give a certain period of notice. It's up to 30 days. The terms of engagement with us, they have 7 days to accept the agreement, the offer, and 30 days to show up. Can I bring along my wife or husband? That's somebody that's very insecure. And if that's the case, if they say yes, you say yes if you wish. But that's not normal.
What does it mean by that?
Well, you have some of these people that are so protected of their spouses.
Okay.
They're either insecure that maybe they go into a location that is not safe, or they don't know the directions.
Oh, okay.
So let's say the husband knows the place more than the wife. He doesn't want the wife to get lost. Maybe the guy just got newly married and he really, you know, he can't afford to lose that diamond. So he's going to walk that diamond all the way to the door, wait outside to make sure that that diamond comes back to him. I don't know what it is with that stuff, but I always get amused when somebody asks me, can I bring my wife or husband with me? But anyway, each to his own. You know what I mean? We can't really, that happens. That kind of person is probably not going to get the job anyway. I would not hire an individual that brings their spouse to an interview with me. It's just a matter of procedure. But anyway. Are you the actual company or are you just a recruiter? Everybody knows recruitment is huge in the UK. So the reason that question is asked, the candidate now is suspicious. He's now trying to determine whether it's worth his time to get dressed and come down and see you. Because he said, wait a minute, if this is a recruitment company, not the actual company, it means they're screening me. There are probably 200 people for every position. My chances of getting the job are 1 in 200. Now, I'm going to buy a day pass, that's 6 or 10 pounds or whatever, get dressed, come on down, what are my chances? Really? I've been to 20 job interviews before, I never got one. And it's just gotten worse. Are you with me? So that's why that question is asked of you. So but you have to say, yeah, we're the approved recruiters. Yeah, you're a recruiter. You can't say you're the company. The next question, who should I ask for the location? Obviously, that's you. How much does the job pay? The job overview will always tell you it's $18,000 a year in this case. Are there any, that person is concerned about money. Maybe they make good money now, okay? Maybe they don't want a job that pays £6 an hour. That's what that concern is. Are there any benefits? This is somebody that wants to be a lifer. They want to be there for life. They want, there's a real company person. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why the question, are there any benefits? That person wants BUPA or whatever they call these benefits to give people they have to shop and all these things. Can I be promoted? That person wants to advance. Probably a young person is going to ask that question. They want to move up. Maybe they were in a situation before where they were stifled. They want moving up. That's what that question would be. Yes, you can be promoted, obviously. The cream always rises to the top. It always happens. Is there room to grow? It's a similar type of question. Yes, the answer to that is yes. How long after the interview will I know if I have been hired? This person is testing out our structure. It's 7 days. From your interview to the second interview is 4 days, and the approvals are right away after that. Within a day or two, they get the approvals. 7 days from the time they've seen you, they're ready to go. This person has probably got other offers on the table. They want to know what to do. You know, and there's gauge, you know, well, it's just a long, drawn-out process. I might as well just wait because I got something that may come through next week. Why go to another interview? You with me? How many vacancies are there? Somebody is trying to gauge what their chances are. There are lots of job applicants. How many are there? Is there one vacancy or are there many? There are 12 in this case. You tell them, I'm not sure, but there are more than one. You kind of need to be vague, or you can tell them 12. It doesn't matter. Okay? How many other candidates are you interviewing? You be vague on that. You can't tell a candidate 200 to 1. You know, You say, well, I'm not sure, but it's more than you ask. That depends upon the quality of the candidates. Nice answer.
I like that.
Right? Yeah. You're saying to him, if you're good quality, I may not need to interview anybody else but you. You with me? It's a perfect answer to that question. If I'm unsuccessful for the role, will you let me know and the reasons why? Some people want to improve themselves. This is somebody that just would like to use you maybe as practice. So what they're saying is, look, I'll come down to the interview. I may not get the job, but at least I get some practice. You with me? It's only of value if you would tell me, A, I respond to me and say, yes, you didn't get the job, because a lot of people, a lot of recruiters don't even do that. And B, please tell me why. And if you do that, because you're a qualified individual, they then can make improvements for the next role, next interview. You follow? So it's not a total waste. Let's go to the next one. How many other colleagues will be on my team? That's somebody that's very confident. They believe that they will get the position already. You see? They're going beyond the interview into the company to find out how many colleagues would I have to work with. That's a clever way of finding out how big the company is, and so on and so forth. If you see a team of 6, they know, okay, all right, the company's got to have at least 20, 30 people for one team to be of 6 people. Because you always have more than one team. You follow? That's how it works out. Who will I be reporting to? But in the case of that question, you always, that answer 24, I do not have that information with me. They haven't given that to me yet. You can answer that way. 25, who will I be reporting to? You can say, I don't know that yet either. I'm just a recruiter. And 26, will there be any unemployment contract? The answer obviously is yes. There always is. Okay, folks, that takes care of rebuttals and questions. So as you can see, we've gone over 26 questions, and these are your answers to the most common questions that are asked. These questions and answers are required when you make your calls on the phone to book your appointments. Okay, if you have these answers and you're only authorized to use these answers, you cannot go on and make up answers. It'll affect the numbers. The way this works is we know out of every 24 CVs that we hand you, how many should be booked, how many you should interview. We know this. Everybody should show up. Out of 18 people, 17 show up. Okay? This is London. This is recession time. You know, you book 18 people and 9 show up. Something's wrong with your booking process. You follow? They can't see you on the phone, right? It's not your looks. They haven't seen you yet. I mean, if you book 20 show up and then 9 walk out, then you can look at your looks, right? You follow me?
Yeah.
I mean, there it is, you're talking English. On the phone, he can't see you, and you can't bring down half the people you talk to. That's a problem. So there we go with the rebuttals. See, so if you stick to the rebuttals, you'll be safe. See, these rebuttals here will protect you. Okay? The people that put these rebuttals have been in the phone business since 1981. They know the deal. You know, some before some of you were born. You know, this stuff's been going on. You know, this is stuff we've used. We use stuff like this all over Los Angeles, all over Chicago, New York. You know, beating bakers upside the head on this kind of stuff. Every day at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. in the morning, calling bakers in Florida with these sticking to the pitch. Don't worry about adding anything to it. It's irrelevant. If you can't control the candidate, you're not going to get him to come down. You control him. You're the recruiter. You control him. He doesn't like it. He can take a long walk. That is irrelevant. You know, you don't have to sell people on a job. You can't do it. Just imagine trying to sell somebody on a job. You've done it. This guy, a candidate, unemployed, and you're going to sell him to go to work. Something's wrong with him. If you stick to the script and the rebuttals, it'll protect you. A, you'll keep your minutes to use on the phone down. And B, you'll get 17 out of 18 showing up. Remember, you get paid for people who show up. Yeah, you don't get paid for educating people. You're not a school teacher.
No.
You follow? Some people get paid to educate. And let them do that. But say, look, I gotta follow the dollar, follow the pound in this case. I'm getting paid to book or bring people down. That's what I should focus on, right? Now, some people take the script and they go on. And that hurts your numbers. Okay? Alright, that takes care of rebuttals.